Welcome back. Concerns have been raised about and around this new terrorist organization, Lakurawa, in the northern part of the country, especially the northwest region. And there's been loads of movement in terms of the military hierarchy. 2002, we had this issue of Boko Haram. And then they went into full swing somewhere around 2010. And we're still struggling with the impact. And then at some point, there was a splinter group called ISWAP, or ISWAP, as some people choose to call it. And now we have another terrorist organization on our hands. What is going on as far as this is concerned? So we're being joined by the National Publicity Secretary of Arewa Consultative Forum, Professor Tukur Muhammed. He joins us via Zoom from Kaduna State. Prof, thank you so much for coming on the program. Hello, Prof, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. I can hear you loud and clear. So, Prof, let's begin with what you are seeing in the region. We've had statements from the GHQ, the Defense Headquarters. We've also seen that the CDS has been called upon by the Kebbi State government to say, look, something is going on. People are being killed within our zone or our area. We've also had the issues that are going on in Sokoto as well. So, maybe just a quick overview, because this is new to a lot of people. We're familiar with Boko Haram, ISWAP, and then Lakurawa has joined the fray. What is going on?
What is going on, I think, is an escalation in the insecurity situation, especially in the northwest part of Nigeria. Actually, Lakurawa is not a new group. About 2018, 2019, they appeared in Tangaza local government area, which is close to the border with Niger. The security forces, or at least we thought the security forces had gotten rid of them. They disappeared. Only now that we think progress has been made in tackling insecurity, they now emerge, and they have seemed to have emerged with ferocity. As you know, about 3-4 days ago, they murdered about 15 people in Mera town in Kebbi State, specifically in Argungu, in Augi local government of the Argungu Emirate. Now, what we have heard, they are also in parts of Sokoto State, and it seems that at first they seem to be attacking the bandits that have been there. But of course, their methods are the same. They want to impose a strict Islamic, their version of Islamic codes, forcing people to wear beard, forcing people to not to sell or smoke cigarettes, and all kinds of things. And they seem to be well armed. So it's alarming in general because they are new, and the reports suggest that they may be affiliated with some Islamic organizations in the Maghreb or the northern Sahel. So overall, we see it as an escalation of the terrorist activities in this part of the country. And it's very alarming because, like I said, it seems that the army has been having some successes in Zamfara State, which has before now been the epicenter. But the emergence of this new group, it's a thing of worry. One would have thought more than just announce that the Defense Headquarters is aware of their presence. One would have liked to see a report that they have been decimated. But it is what it is. But we are hoping that everybody concerned is taking it very seriously.
So, Prof, the big question will be, what is it in that region and that area that makes the terrorist groups to have ease of access and literally incubate and become full-blown problem to all of us? Because that's where we start the conversation from, in terms of culture, in terms of religion and all of these things. What is it in the area that is really enticing for them to come through and begin to make this strong inroads and impression?
First and foremost is the porosity of the border. And we also have to remember the characteristics of the international border. It is artificial, made up by colonialism. In many places in this part of the country, you see that the international boundary cuts through right across a settlement. So the ease of movement is there. These are routes that have been there historically. It is actually the border that meets the people. So that is one aspect. The other aspect, of course, is like everything in the border areas of Africa, that people move in and out, and they do not use approved routes. They use what we can call the bush paths and so on, which allow them access. And then, of course, there is the cultural proximity, except for the dressing, except for language, which are distinct. You can easily blend into the population. The other thing we have to put into account is also some of the economic challenges in neighboring African countries. Climate change and so on is pushing these groups southwards, and of course, loose law enforcement allow them to move. So it's a combination of factors. And of course, this is a rich agricultural area. It has always been the food basket for many communities to the north of Nigeria. So as they are pushed by factors there, they are now pulled into Nigeria. And like I said, the nature of the border, we don't have natural barriers such as mountains, such as rivers, and so on. It's flat land. And so people can move easily. You don't need much logistics. Plus, the other thing is, I think also we don't have enough personnel to man the borders. It's an extensive border, and you need actually to send in troops that will man this border. Otherwise, people will come in the daytime, in the night, and so on. And like I said, when they come armed, fully armed with sophisticated weapons, villagers have no choice than to submit to them. And like I said, they employ terror, murder, their own version of law and order, and so on. But especially when villagers are not manned and the security agencies are not there or they are not adequate, it opens the room for all kinds of problems coming into the country.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to, talk us through what we can learn from the impact of the recent coup in Niger and how it perhaps infiltrated into neighboring Kebbi State and, brought us to where we are today, which is pretty much what the Director Defense Media Operations spoke to when he informed the nation about the emergence of this new terror group. But you seem to have touched on that. I was also wondering how, this new group was able to overcome what may have been the language barrier, because in your statement, you let us know that they speak French, that they're foreigners, and they speak a certain Arabic dialect. But we know that Fulani is spoken and Hausa is spoken in most of Nigeria's north. So I was wondering how relations were to the effect that this terror group was able to gain ground in Kebbi State, and you say they're also in Sokoto as well. But besides those things that we're learning about the infiltration of this Lakurawa, how can we prevent a further infiltration into neighboring states in the north?
Massive security presence. You see, the problem in Niger and other Sahelian countries is also contributing to this place. We have alluded to that. Of course, we know what happened with the threat by ECOWAS last year, led by Nigeria, because our president is the chairman of ECOWAS, to invade Niger. And of course, this brought a lot of bad blood. So on. But we thought we had overcome that. The threat to invade Niger did not happen. Earlier this year, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, visited Niger, and we were happy. Actually, the Area Consultative Forum issued a statement welcoming the gesture, looking at it as some detente, defreezing of problems. in the first place. And we thought Nigeria should liberate that. But also you can add the problem in Libya, which the Western countries have left unsolved. Libya is still unstable. Arms will flow. People will flow across. And I said, these are people who are extremely mobile. What we would want to see is a completely new strategy. One, there is no doubt we need cooperation with our neighbors. In particular, the multinational task force that has been operating in the Chad area, I think, should be broadened to include northwest Nigeria, where again our borders meet with Niger and the Republic of Benin. We need cooperation with this, and so I would have preferred to see a massive ECOWAS multinational force against these bandits. But like I said, of course, the political problem in Niger, in Burkina Faso and Mali are not making things easy. And of course, the problem in ECOWAS, has brought about much bad blood. So I think we need to reset our relationship. All these countries, Niger, Nigeria, Chad, Burkina Faso, are under existential threat. And we need to deal with the problem from all angles. That is, all the countries need to get together to see that this problem is an existential threat to absolutely everyone. And so we need such cooperation. Of course, we have problems with the natural environment, climate change, making things difficult for people, and so on and so forth. But that also suggests that we need to sit up and take this threat seriously. When I say we, I have the core Sahelian countries as well as Nigeria. We are contagious. And like I said, the borders are porous. They are artificial. There are no barriers and so on, except for the sun. And anybody can walk on the sun. It's not as if it's Mount Everest that or the some mountain ranges that you have to overcome. So that's the basic problem. And so our security forces need to the armed forces, and including, of course, the civil defense. And I'm sure, of course, in every local government in these areas, the Department of State Security Services is there. We also have the National Intelligence Agency. We need to marshal resources. That's number one. Number two, there is no escaping the fact that we need to cooperate with our neighbors, convince them that this existential threat is mutual. We don't want the Sahel or the northern parts of the country or anywhere in the country to become a no man's land, that anybody could just come in and out, and so on. No doubt, reports from the villagers suggested that these people, from their dressing, from their language, from their demeanor, and so on, are not Nigerian. In fact, you can say even Niger, these are mostly people from the northern parts of Niger and neighboring countries.
All right. Prof, you made a very, very important comment talking about let's not get to where it's now going to be a no man's land. My curiosity has to do with what the government can do to gain the trust of the people to support them, because I think that's where that collapse is happening. Because I heard the spokesperson of the DHQ talking about maybe the community knew and did not say anything. I don't know what is the level of relationship between community and law enforcement, especially the military, as far as that region is concerned. What can be done to strengthen that relationship, Prof?
It's a mixture. It's a cocktail of problems. Let me first of all suggest that the communities they react to the claim that the communities are not cooperating. You see, when someone invades a rural community in the night with sophisticated guns, people have no choice than to submit. So it's not that the people are willingly submitting to those people. They are forced at gunpoint, sophisticated arms. That's number one. Number two, you see, we should not rely on only the kinetic military approach. The communities need enlightenment. We need to organize the people in these communities as vanguard, as early warning, so that they pass information to the right quarters. Of course, we don't have the Chinese army, for example, that could man every kilometer on the border. But we can devise means whereby information, intelligence is passed from the villagers to the authorities concerned. Fortunately, in northern Nigeria, there is a series of commands. Every traditional ruler knows every inch of their area, and they can serve as fast level of intelligence gathering. Of course, nowadays we have digital transmission of information. Almost every village you go, there are telephones, and messages can be passed surreptitiously through the tradition, through the hierarchy of traditional rulers. And then we need, therefore, we need to bring the traditional institution into that. But again, we have also talked about the role of informants within these villages. When you have people who are benefiting from the little they can get from these terrorists, especially in times of economic difficulties, it's very easy. We have seen in Katsina State and other places, for example, village heads, traditional rulers cooperating with bandits and so on. We need to uproot the informants. So the problem is becoming organic. And if it is organic, we need to uproot it from the beginning, from the roots, so that communities have to be mobilized to see this threat, to not look at what they could get out of these people, but what it means for another. Just last year, I think, the Katsina State Governor, Dr. Rada, reported that these guys came in, bribed a village head who allowed them to come, and they kill about over 30 people. Again, in the last 2 weeks, I think, we have seen another who was an informant, a village head, to bandits who got 25 million naira, and he claimed that he was given only 100,000 naira. So this ties into the economic difficulties people are getting in. So information and cooperation with insurgents become very, very cheap. I mean, I can't understand how you allow people to come and they collect ransom of 25 million naira only to be given 100 million naira, 100,000 naira. We need to take both the kinetic and the non-kinetic approach. And I think massive community mobilization is called for. We have security consultants who can go into these villages, teach these villagers simple, basic intelligence gathering and transmission.
You know, Professor Muhammad, so much more, you know, to glean from what's playing out. Initially, insurgency was restricted to Nigeria's northeast, you know, with only 3 states being involved. And then we had, you know, banditry, become a result of that, affecting majority of Nigeria's northwest, Kaduna. But now we're seeing states that may have been removed from, you know, that impact now being included. States like Kebbi that weren't affected by, wasn't affected by banditry and insurgency in the past. Are you getting any sense that the governors in Nigeria's north are in full cognizance of the real developmental challenges that are impacting this, that are fueling rather this challenge of insecurity? And what would be your message, you know, to them at this critical time?
First of all, I think really the governors are familiar, are in the know about what is happening. Just about 3 months ago in June, the governors of the Northeast formed what they call the Northwest Security Summit in Katsina, whereby Jigawa, Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Kebbi attended this seminar, and there was a strong resolve that the governors need to work together. So as far as knowledge of what is happening, I'm in no doubt that everybody knows. But the other thing is, or the next thing is what is being done now, or what is to be done. Again, there is a constitutional problem. The deployment of armed forces is completely the prerogative of the federal government. The state governments are there. They can have some vigilantes, they can form community guards, but passing through these villages, you will see that the community guards, they are not armed. The weapons they have are mostly for hunting animals and so on. So, you know, like I said earlier, it's a cocktail of problems. Constitutional, logistics, geographical, social, and economic. All this, you know, like I said, is a potent mixture that we need to tackle it from various perspectives. Yeah, even if the state governors want to do something urgent, they need the buy-in of the federal government, especially with the deployment of trained troops.
Prof. Umar, thank you for coming on the program and for your insights as well. Professor Tukur Muhammed is the National Secretary, or Publicity Secretary rather, of Arewa Consultative Forum. He joined us via Zoom from Kaduna State. Thank you, sir. Thank
you so very much. The name is Tukur Muhammad Baba. Thank you so very much. It's been my pleasure. And we hope to see the end of this problem as soon as possible so that life can return to what normality we can afford. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you on that. Thank you. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk the Grammys. Nigerians are making quite a big inroad as far as that new category is concerned. Correspondent who covers entertainment, the chief himself will be here to bring us up to speed as to what we should be expecting and what this is all about. Join us again.